The Bear is one of the most popular TV shows of the 2020s. We haven't had too many fantastic shows come out in that time, but Bear is certainly one of them and has risen to mainstream popularity in the past year. So with that, following the release of its third season, I'm going to rank all of those seasons. But before we do, please let me know what your ranking is down below. Dramas are always very interesting with different people's rankings. Some people resonate with them in different ways to others, so it leads to a lot of different opinions. Please let me know what yours is down below, and let's get into my ranking of all 3 seasons of The Bear. Coming in last place is actually season 3. The show had a lot of hype coming into season 3, and to be honest, while there's no massive sins here, not much happens, and that was quite a big shock to me. You know, you still have some great episodes, in particular Tina's backstory and Sugar's pregnancy. But other than that, there doesn't seem to be too much going on. As I said, one of the best episodes of the show is a backstory, so it's not really progressing the story forward like previous seasons have. And not to mention, because of that, there's a real lack of urgency, which leads to underwhelming episodes which, once you watch them, they're quite forgettable. There are 1 or 2 that I had this season where I had watched the episode, gone to sleep, and then didn't recall watching that episode just because there wasn't too much that had gone on. And I know a lot of this show is dealing with a lot of psychological drama, you know, like mental health issues. So it's good to kind of sit in that and absorb what they're going through. I just don't feel like this season had been as effective in that department as the previous ones had. We are now heading into season 4, and there are still unanswered questions that should have been answered in this season. So I just felt slight disappointment through the lack of urgency of this season. Acting and cinematography was still top notch. You know, I still was thoroughly entertained watching every episode. But when you look at the larger picture, I just feel like not much happened. I quickly felt an attachment to this show from the get-go. Such a raw feeling show. You know, there's a lot of things where the realism isn't exactly translated into Hollywood, but there's just something about The Bear, especially kicking off with its first season, where it just feels so grounded and real. A lot of these characters have flaws, but as I said, that makes them feel realistic and compelling. These characters are the heart and soul of this show, and they just gain so much development in a short amount of time that it's a real testament to everyone involved with this show. I used to work in a kitchen, so I had a lot of joy watching a show like this, you know, getting quite nostalgic for a lot of things that were happening on screen. But at the same time, reliving the stress that came with that, because there are moments where the stress is just so unbearable, even just watching this series, and I feel like not many shows can do that very well. So once again, great job to everyone involved with this in creating such a real feeling show, and one which sticks with you and your emotions. As these characters are great, the performances are great as well, but in particular, Jeremy Allen White, Ayo Edebiri, and Eben Moss Backrack are the standouts. You know, they all capture how great this show is just within their characters. You know, the love, the stress, the anger, the extreme swearing, you know, it's all down to these characters. In terms of the material, The Bear is quite dark. A lot of this show's emotion comes from the suicide of Carmen's brother and the mental health issues that he struggles after that, as well as just the stress and anger of working in the kitchen. But there's enough comedic moments sprinkled throughout which just kind of breaks up the emotion and keeps it lighthearted at times when it needs to be. So it's not just an intense watch every single time. This is one of the strongest first seasons in recent years. But since it's in second place, it means it only got better from here on up. And this leads things into season 2, which is my number 1 pick. Season 1 was chaotic in the best way, you know, so stressful, and that's all turned up a notch in this season as expectations are higher within the story. It was all building up to what this season delivered on, so it properly dives into the story and dives into these characters, fleshing out each and every one of them, you know, even the ones who don't get as much screen time, they get that this season. It's one of those seasons where you just feel every character gets their moment and it's all well executed. Whether that moment is a positive one or a negative one, there is something you can say about every character this season. You look at the start of the season where all these characters are, and go toward the end and they're a completely different person, or they've just gone through something. That is good storytelling. The main example of this is Eben Moss Backrack's character Richie was quite a whingy character, quite unlikable to some people. I don't know, I found it a bit charming, but by the end of this season, he's just, he's got his life in order more, and just very satisfying to see a transition like that. The script has always been brilliant, from the first season, but I felt a big increase in cinematography this season. We're dealing with a lot of high quality food, more so than the first season, and it's really pictured well. You feel as though not only has the food quality improved, but also the camera work as well, because it's matching that food. With the restaurant rebranding and upgrading to a more deluxe level, you feel as though the visuals and the quality overall just do the same. And despite not being the main goal, the bear continues to make you laugh as well as cry, because there's such a solid balance of laughs and tears. So yeah, because of that, season 2 comes in at first place for me. So there is my ranking of all 3 seasons of The Bear. Please let me know what your ranking is down below. As I said in my season 3 review of this, it felt like a bit of a weird season. So hopefully season 4 has a lot more in terms of story. And right before I filmed this, I actually heard that they did film about 18 episodes. Only 10 were released, so I guess it's kind of like half a season in a way, but look, it's the way they formatted it, so I have to review it in that way. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy, please like and subscribe. That would mean a lot. And I hope I'm back in the swing of things now after my little break away from the videos. So yeah, thank you for being patient with me, and I hope to see you in my next video.